Well, hey, y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I am Susan. I'm your hostess, and we're so glad that you're with us today. I want to welcome in Michelle, Crochets in Kansas, Palettes, Pouts, Perfumes, and Panning, and anybody else that is coming in. I'm going to give y'all some time to get into the house. Yesterday, I was puny, y'all. I had a bad day. Health-wise, but today I seem to be on the mend and better than I was yesterday. But y'all, I've been dealing with the sinus issues and all this other stuff going on, and my body is just stressed. So I had to give myself time to rest and relax. So I did no videos yesterday, which was a comfort for me to get prepared for Thursday. And I do have something planned for Thursday's video. It will be a mail call and maybe some other footage. I haven't decided yet how exactly I'm going to do that mail call yet. And then Friday, I'm hoping to have another cooking video put out for y'all. I have been slacking on the cooking and have not been cooking like I should be. So I'm hoping to get back into the swing of things. Garden season is just around the corner for us. We're just waiting for it to dry out enough to get the plots plowed and ready to be planted. Well, hello, Miss Tracy. I hope everything is all right in your neck of the woods. We do have a lot of watch hour shout outs to do today. We have a total of 18 channels that are working on getting monetized. Well, actually 17, because Michelle Crochets in Kansas reached her 1K and her 4K at the same time. Woot, woot. Go for it, Michelle. Hey, KY Prepper 5, welcome in. You're new to our channel, I do believe, and I'm going to write new over here. I am trying to rest my body just a little bit, but I've got a lot of work ahead of me, so I'm doing a lot of planning, so it's all in the head now. KY Prepper, we have a word that you can drop in the chat to share your link. It's called Hillbilly, and others can pick up and connect with you. Anybody in the chat that wants to drop their links are more than welcome to do so. This is all about connecting and growing your channels. Hello, Home Bartending with John. Welcome in. Excuse me. Time for a drink. I'm just getting started and I'm already getting raspy. Welcome in, Barb's Country Home. And Shauna, welcome in. So glad that y'all are all here. Shauna is also new to our live stream, so welcome in, welcome in. So glad that y'all are here. Now, I do write down your names on a list, and what I do with this is I will go throughout the week and I will go check out your channel. If you're new here, I'll give you 3 to 5 minutes of watch time. Then I'll leave a meaningful comment for you, and I will like and subscribe or friend you, because we know YouTube don't like that S word. And for those that are repeat, keep coming back. You get 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how much time I have throughout the week to spend on watch time with other channels. I try to do this to pay back a little bit of a thank you for coming to my channel. And let's see, Littlefoot Ranch, welcome in. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm still learning names. I've been on here for 1.5 years approximately, and I'm still learning everybody's name. So y'all forgive me if I don't call out your name, or if I call it out wrong, just correct me in the chat. I don't mind. I am a very teachable person. So I am looking forward to getting this rolling, and we're going to start with our watch hours here in a moment. I want to give everybody a chance to get into the chat that wants to be here. And I do have quite a bit on my topics of interest today, including a little short video clip that I'm going to play for you at the end of this live, of that segment of this live. And I also will be opening up the panel after I do my topics of interest. I like to keep them in the middle of my live, so y'all bear with me. Hello, Scratch and Pete PA. Welcome in. I am so thrilled to come to y'all on Hump Day. What day is it? It's Hump Day. Hey, the Bud Files, welcome in. I am tremendously impressed, or I should say thrilled, with the amount of support that I'm receiving for my channel. And I cannot thank y'all enough for all the support and love that you show towards me. Just a simple little woman. And I'm dealing with a scratchy throat this morning. Hello, Mark with Corner Clubhouse Cabalt. I think I got your name right. So y'all can drop the word hillbilly in the chat, and hopefully Nightbot will pick it up and put your channels out there for everybody to connect and grow with you. Hello, Janet Homestead, where you are. Welcome in. And Woman Outdoors, Miss LB, welcome in, welcome in. Okay, I'm not going to hold this up much longer. I want to get rolling, and if anybody else comes in, I'll try to catch you. And I try to catch everybody that comes through and at least give you one shout out during the introductory part of our lives. I'm going to start with Missy's channel. Missy is a Native American. She lives out in Oklahoma. She does Roblox, the gaming Roblox. She crochets. She does Bible studies, and she does fantastic artwork, and she raises standard poodles. Among other things that she does on her channel is she will do a bingo night, and she does giveaways. So it's really a fun time to be with Missy. And she likes to tell jokes. So y'all go over and check out Missy's channel. Give her a little bit of watch time if you would. I would really appreciate it. And I know she would too. The Fitness Hutch is in the house. Welcome in. Bad Ass 93 Stang is a young man, and he loves cars, and his channel is all about cars. It's called Missy's channel. And I don't have a way. Let me see if I can drop her a link. Hang on a minute. And where am I? Give me just a second. Why isn't it popping up? Well, that's weird. Let me see if I can pull it up another way. Hang on a minute, y'all. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody. That is really weird. I can't find her channel. We'll have to figure that one out. I don't know if something's happened to her channel or what's going on, but she is on YouTube, or was at the last time I checked. So, well, I don't want that. Didn't want that to pop up. Okay. Bad Stang 93. He does everything to do with cars. He goes to car shows. He's a really cool guy. I like watching his content. And all of these channels have reached their 1K mark or way past their 1K mark. And they are, I don't know what's going on with this either. Let's get that off there so y'all can see my face. I must have hit it accidentally. Anyway, all of these channels that I'm going to shout out have reached their 1K. They're trying to reach their 4K for monetization. Some of them have lost their monetization and are trying to get it back. Missy's channel is one of those that is trying to get their channel back to the monetization. Carpenter's Self-Reliance is Mr. Jerry. He's another channel that is trying to get monetized again. He was locked out of his channel for a while. He finally got it back, and when he got it back, he had lost his monetization. It's called Carpenter's Self-Reliance, and he does everything that most big farmers would do. He raises his own cattle. He raises his own hogs. He has chickens. He will tell you the different cuts of meats. He sells the meats locally. He will show you how to build pens for your animals. He shows you farm equipments. He also has an orchard. He raises grapes. Great guy. Got a lot of information rolling out all the time. Very personable. I think I could sit down in a room and just talk for hours with Mr. Jerry. I wish y'all would go over and give him some watch time. Mark with Corner Clubhouse Cobalt. I can't say it right. I don't know why. Is very family oriented. He does a lot of lives. He has one playlist. Y'all, he's trying very hard to get to that 4K. And I think y'all will enjoy his lives. Big Dude is a young man that I love. I have grown to love. And I call him a preacher man because he loves the Lord. He puts out devotionals. He does sign language with music on his channel. He's been around YouTube for a while, but he's never made the monetization. Although he has a lot of friends. He reached 4K on his friends this week, but he's still struggling to get to that monetization in. And I really and truly love this guy. He has such a great big heart and personality. I think that y'all will enjoy his channel as well. And then Miss Ashley with CNC Farm. Ashley, y'all pardon me, I'm having problems today. Ashley has a young son. He's a toddler, and you'll see him on a lot of her videos. He's really cute. And she is gardening, and she is cooking, and she's telling you things that are going on around her homestead. Great lady. She does a lot of collaborations. She will do open collaborations with you. Just really, really a fun lady to get to know. Our New Land. This is a brother team that are where one of the brothers was adopted. And they met as adults, and they decided to buy a property together, and they're showing you the progress of the property together. It's a great, great channel, y'all. And we have nature lovers in the house. Welcome in, and Nitro Freak is here. So thank you very much for coming in. And don't forget to hit that bell, and don't forget to type in the word hillbilly and share your channels, because we do have someone new in the house. Just Doing Our Best is a new channel to me. Y'all, I have to be honest. I can't remember everything that I've watched on their channel yet. I'm having memory problems that I'm trying to work on, so just go by there and check them out. Hey, Wicked Awesome Gardening, welcome in. When I have one of these spells that I had yesterday, it just throws my whole system off, and I can't remember things. Crazy, I know. So anyway, Hardneck Farm is Miss Wendy, and she is a homesteader. You will really enjoy her channel. Mountains of Inspiration. This man will give you all kinds of inspirational settings that you can listen to him. He's very vibrant. You will really enjoy watching him. GJ Journeys is another channel that's new to me, and I'm still learning a lot about them, but it has to do with their journey. Hey, Christy Betts, welcome in. And I hope I haven't missed anybody in the chat. Butler Family Farms is another homesteading channel, and they have a lot of great content on there. Barb's Country Home is also another content creator that is homestead oriented. She does a lot of cooking on her channel, and y'all, this lady can cook. That's all I got to say. She can cook. A lot of great recipes, especially on the homesteading channels. You'll find a lot of great recipes. Canadian Family Life is Tiffany, and Tiffany is from Canada, and she's a young lady, and I love her, and I love watching her. She does a lot of cooking on her channel as well. Little Ridge Farm is Mark, and Mark was recently had a fire last year, I think it was. He's recently cleared off his land finally, and he's looking to get another tiny home set up, done in the near future for him and his daughter. And so we're wishing him the best. And he recently made his 1K, which was really exciting for him. So we want to push him to get that monetization. And I see Henry Leslie Vermont and Little Ridge is in the house. Welcome in. And did I get Yellow Shirt Dad? Yellow Shirt Dad, welcome in. I hope I haven't missed anybody. Hey, Jamie, welcome in. That's Jamie's Country Living. And the next channel is Storytime with Uncle Bill, and he tells all kinds of fascinating stories. He will take you out to the beach and pick up seashells and coral and all kinds of interesting things. And Janet Homestead Where You Are is another homesteading channel. A lot of great information on her channel, y'all. Things that I don't know, I learned from all of y'all. So, don't ever think that just because your channel's small that people can't learn from you. That's not true. They will, and they will love you. And I love all of y'all. I really do appreciate and love all of y'all. Before I started the live today, I prayed and asked God to place a hedge of protection around all my friends that come through, because I know the times that we are living in are difficult, to say the least. Now I'm going to get into the new friends, the channels that are seeking friendships, that are growing, and I want to congratulate each and every one of y'all for reaching milestones that you have been trying to get to, and I think that it's just wonderful that you're getting there. Good Eats Homestead, welcome in. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, thank you, Jesus. That's right. I believe in the power of prayer, and I believe the Lord is with us. And I know that when I pray, that my prayer is powerful because the Holy Spirit takes that prayer and delivers it to the Father in heaven. And we always pray in the name of Jesus because we know that Jesus is our Lord and Savior. So that is my beliefs, and I love the Lord with all my heart. And I don't want anybody to die and go to hell thinking that they were saved and they were not. So, y'all, I can't stress it enough. You need to know Jesus. The first channel on my list is Kathy Paina. She lives in Hawaii. You will see a lot of the beach on her channel. She's a great lady. She has 440 friends, and we want to push her towards that 500. So if you haven't connected with Kathy, you might want to do so today. I will try to get all of these listed in the description box below the video after the video is over because I did not get it done beforehand this morning. Christy Betts is almost at 300, y'all. We can push her today and get her at 300. So Christy, right now, I want you to drop your link. Type in the word Hillbilly, and let's get Christy pushed over that 300 mark and secured today. So if you haven't checked out the channel, do so. Kathy Paina, it's Kathy with a Y, Paaaina is the other channel. I will have all of these linked in the description box after the video, after this live is over with. I'll do it sometime today. So you can just come back and click on the description box and find everybody. Alfonso Simmental. We love Alfonso. Alfonso is legally blind. He works for the ARC thrift stores. He holds 2 doctorates, y'all. He is self-taught, plays music by ear. Oh no, Christy, you had to start a new channel after having your phone hacked? I'm sorry to hear that. Well, we'll check that out here in a little bit. It does happen, y'all. But if you contact YouTube and work with them, you can regain access to your account. Hopefully that will happen. So Alfonso is at 340 friends, and we're hoping to get him up to 400. And y'all will enjoy him. He also loves model trains. He's been doing a little bit of puppetry on some of his videos. He's extremely creative. Cricket 208 is new to me. She's got some content on her channel. She's starting to grow. She just reached 100 friends this week. So we want to give her a woohoo push towards 200. So anybody that wants to go visit Cricket 208, you can do so. And Jamie has another channel. I'm thinking about posting all bird videos on that channel, undecided. Well, that would be good if you can handle 2 channels. If not, just make it a playlist. Thank you, Yellow Shirt Dad, for posting Christy's link again. Multi-Hunter 247 is a young man that loves to hunt, and he does all kinds of hunting videos. You will see a lot of wildlife on there with wildlife cameras and so forth. He's really a great channel. And we're pushing him towards that 700 mark. He's at 683 today. And we want to see him reach that 700 very, very soon. Thank you, Fitness Hutch, for doing crickets. The Fitness Hutch, I really and truly appreciate, because as soon as he found my channel, he was shouting me out and bringing friends over to my channel. And I truly, truly appreciate that. That was a great, great thing. Christy doesn't have any videos on her new channel yet. So, bartending with John. I have watched so many taste tests. He does taste tests on different kinds of beers and lagers and pilsners. He mixes mixed drinks. He teaches you how to do the mixed drinks. If you drink, I don't drink alcohol. I don't do anything with alcohol. But he is a wealth of knowledge for anybody that does. And so I support him. And he recently passed his 400 mark. He's got 403 friends. Woohoo! We're pushing you towards that 500. Can't wait to see you get there, my friend. Pedrosa Travel. This is a travel channel, and you will love them. They are at 973 friends. They're going to be hitting that 1K before we know it. And I am looking forward to seeing that day come very, very soon. Corky's Tea Time is Miss Corky. And her channel started out about her drinking tea and having little chats. And she has little chats in her kitchen or her sewing room. She does machine embroidery. And she collects teapots and teacups. Very, very sweet lady. And y'all, she's only got 52 friends. We want to push her towards that 100. And Cricket, if you would, just drop your link, because I just shouted you out just a moment ago and gave you a woohoo for passing that 100 mark. I know you're excited. To me, the first 100 was the hardest to ever get. And I've had a few plateaus here and there along the way. That seem like to go on forever, but you will get there, my friends. You will. Low Family Adventures is a channel that I'm just getting to know, and they're out on all kinds of excursions, and they're at 276 friends, and we want to see them pass that 300 mark if possible. And the Fitness Hutch. This guy, y'all, he will show you how to do wrestling moves. He gives inspirational talks. He wants you to become healthy, and he loves the YouTube community. Let me tell you, he's got 689 friends. He's going to be at that 700 mark before too long. So the Fitness Hutch, if you would, just drop your link in the description box or in the chat box, and let everybody go check out your channel and connect with you. And my last shout out, y'all. My shout out list was short this week. My watch hour list was long this week, but my last shout out is for Littlefoot Ranch. I love this lady. I love her channel. She has a lot of healthy recipes for you. She talks about farm life, living on a homestead, gardening, just all sorts of great things. And y'all, so much fun to go there. 528 friends. I need to welcome in Gail Southern Living. And let's see, I thought I saw another, and CNC Farm. Gail has 2 open collaborations going on, so you need to go over and check out her channel. Both of them have to do with gardening. And Ashley with CNC Farm is a farming community channel. And Cruise and Koozies, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. Well, I've gone through all my list from last week of everybody that went through the chat. I don't always shout out the big channels. I do go and watch, regardless of the size of your channel, you will get watch time from me. If you come through my live, you get watch time. And that's just my little way of saying thank you for coming. And I can't get to everybody's channel, unfortunately. I wish I could to shout out, but we would be here forever, y'all, if I did. And I have been keeping up with my lives since the very first live, y'all. And one day, very soon, I'm going to have to sit down and go through and write down everybody's name that has come through my lives, because I want to do a video shout out to all those channels, because sometimes we lose connections, and I don't want to lose connections with anybody if I can help it. Oh, Jamie, I'm so sorry that you've lost one of your fur babies. That is so hard. Yeah, I understand that. I really and truly do understand that. Okay, my watch hours this week. I had 60 hours, 0.9 for watch hour time. And my total watch hours are 3,583.1. And the watch hours needed are 416.9. And actually, you can add 10 on there and say 426.9, because you want to have that little bit of a cushion there, because y'all know how YouTube is. It will give and take, and it gives and takes all the time. And a note on the watch hours: if you've passed the 1K, you've been on for a year and you've passed, every day your watch hours will change, because they're going back 1 year all the time. And if your watch hours a year ago or less than that monetization number, you can lose your monetization. I didn't know that, but I'm letting you know. So you want to make sure that you are engaging with your audience as much as possible to draw them back in. My friends, y'all, I'm at 932 friends. I need 68 to reach the 1K. And actually, I would like it to be 78 so that I can actually get, make sure that it's secure. I'm sorry to hear that, Christy. You lost your almost 18-year-old Dotson right before you moved to Tennessee last year. Yeah, it's so hard when you have a pet for that long. Yeah, it's a yearly average. So when they give you the watch hours, it's a yearly average. So it fluctuates. It goes up and down. So y'all want to be aware of that. Once you reach that 1K mark or your 1 year anniversary, your hours will change from day to day after that point. Yeah, I've lost several pets over the years, and it's really hard. But because I'm a Christian and the Bible talks about horses coming out of heaven, I do believe that we will see our beloved pets in heaven. Now, there's a lot of controversy saying that pets don't have souls. That may be true. I don't know. Only God knows. But I do know that our pets bring a lot of joy to us. And I don't think God would withhold that from us in heaven. Y'all excuse me again. I'm coughing. Okay, we're going to move on to the topics of interest. Christy says, I have 5 Pyrenees mixed dogs, but little Sammy was the boss. Hey, Destination Fun, welcome in. Let me get over here and write you down real quick. And before I move on, if you have not hit the bell, please do, and share me out if you don't mind. And maybe we can draw some more folks into the house. Now, my topics of interest are usually news or related articles. And y'all, I really do not like mainstream media. I don't like the liberal media. I think a lot of it is false information being put out there, and I look for information that is truthful, honest, and above board. And sometimes I may get it wrong, so y'all forgive me if I do. But these articles are things that I've heard or seen within the last week. Hey, Lars Homesteadish, welcome in. Get you on my list. Okay. CEO Mike Lindell, who has the My Pillow company, and y'all, we love those pillows, by the way. We use them. Learns his fate in court on the voting machine case. George Papadopoulos. I can't even say the man's name right. Zero Hedge reports modern day slave. I'm sorry. Let me go back and start this over again. CEO Mike Lindell learns his fate in court on the voting machine case. George Papadopoulos. Meanwhile, at Zero Hedge is reporting modern day slave traders. Holly demands probe into the 85,000 lost migrant children for 29-23. According to the Customs and Border Protection, approximately 345,000 minors have crossed our borders since number 46 took office. During the Senate's Finance Hearing Committee in March, HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra denied knowledge of the 85,000, and number 46 lifted the Title 42 restrictions of unaccompanied children early in 2021. Former Health and Human Services official turned whistleblower Tara Lee Rodas has revealed that number 46 and his team effectively are middlemen in a massive migrant trafficking operation at the southern border that came from the American Liberty Report, and it said 2 smuggler and traffickers. Very, very sad that we have this situation going on in our country, and I pray for these unaccompanied children that are being lost in the system and that may be falling into hands of these smugglers and traffickers. And yes, slavery is alive and well in our nation, unfortunately. I am not a proponent of slavery of any form, so y'all just be aware that I'm just sharing this information so that you can pray for these children because it's so important. And I see that we have legal-minded friends with Karen Cole in the house. Welcome in. Yeah, it's happening in every country. I do believe that. Okay. Senator Ron Johnson, number 46, and Secretary Mayorkas are putting kids in cages at the border thanks to Mark Morgan's, Jason Jones, and Newsmax. Where's the mainstream media? Where is the outrage? And that article appeared on April 29th, y'all. Again, I am extremely concerned about this migrant crossing, whether they're legal, illegal, or otherwise. And a lot of these children are unaccompanied. They may have been stolen from their families and brought to the United States for whatever purpose that these smugglers and traffickers are wanting them for, and it's scary. Uh, 27 Democrats in the Colorado House of Representatives just voted against making indecent exposure to minors a Class 6 felony. One Democrat said that the bill targets drag shows and the transgender community. Don't know, y'all. Our country is going to pot. Hey, Smoky Mountains Blessed. And for those that don't know, that is Joy Blessed Life's new channel name. Get your name down. So glad that you're here. This comes from Breitbart, Washington, D.C., leaking the draft Dobbs opinion overruling the infamous Roe versus Wade. Mad Supreme Court justices targets of assassination. Justice Samuel Alito told the Wall Street Journal in a rare interview published on 4/28/23. One of the most chilling aspects of that from the standpoint of the American constitutional system is the idea that someone would assassinate a justice to change the direction of the nation by reversing the outcome of a pending Supreme Court decision. Alito spoke out precisely that possibility, saying it was rational for people to believe that they might be able to stop the decision in the Dobbs by killing one of us. He explained that the leak was designed to mobilize external pressure on the justices to intimidate one or more justices into changing their votes. The Supreme Court marshals investigating did not uncover enough evidence to accuse someone of being the leaker. We need to be praying for our Supreme Court justices and for a protection around them. And I don't care what side of the aisle they came from. They are human beings and they deserve to be treated with respect. Yeah, Karen, it is a very big problem when parents pay to have their children brought over. I don't think they realize what they're sending their kids into. Federal judge halts state's new assault bang weapon bang ban, cites likely Second Amendment violation, the Western Journal. So you can go look at that article on the Western Journal and read it. It was quite interesting. I was like, what? So they're banning the state was trying to ban the assault bang bangs. So this judge stopped it because of the Second Amendment violation. And y'all, we don't have these kind of assault bang bangs out there that they're talking about. The military has them, but we don't. Unless somebody has bought something illegally. Hey, Rita Spruce, welcome in. Get you on my list, Miss Rita. I'm loving my quilt, Rita. It is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, where am I at? On 4/30/23, Judge Stephen McGlynn, South District of Illinois, stated Communities Act cannot be enforced until a final decision on the constitutionality of the law is made. He stated the law will likely be found unconstitutional. He also stated SCOTUS has clearly defined the right to bear bang bangs in our constitutional amendments. I'm looking at it across the room. It is gorgeous. And those squares are just, I can't believe that you put all that together. It's just gorgeous. On 4/27, One American News put this out. Number 46 evacuates U.S. diplomats from Sudan. Thousands of citizens were left behind. Here we go again. This is my opinion. The article states he left Americans behind in Afghanistan, and he is doing it again in Sudan. Why isn't number 46 administration prioritizing American citizens left in the chaos? And I will tell you more about what's going on in Sudan later on, but I'm going to skip over to finish this out. So give me just a minute. Now my pages don't want to come apart. There we go. Okay. WHO cites a huge biological risk. This is the reason that we're getting our military out. As Sudan fighters seized lab-containing deadly pathogens. Zero Hedge 4/25/23. The U.S. brokered 72-hour truce deal collapses when war correspondents reported gunfire, or the bang-bangs. The lab contained polio isolates, measles isolates, cholera isolates in the labs. The danger lies in the outbreak of any armed confrontation in the laboratory, because that will turn the lab into a germ bomb. What on earth is the U.S. doing establishing biological labs in Sudan and Ukraine and other unknown places worldwide? That's my question, and I want answers. I don't know about y'all, but I want answers to those questions. Now let me get back over here to where I was at. Karen Cole says, in England, the migrants came from France. The English Channel is so bad. They die at sea, and the rest get captured on our shores. They complained about the food. Oh, my Lord. Yes, AR stands for Armalite, not assault. Exactly. Democrat arrested after being caught cheating in the 2020 election, y'all. American Liberty Report. Local Democrat in Flint, Michigan, was sentenced to a house arrest after being charged with sabotaging a ballot box in her own election. Kathy Funk, former Flint Township clerk, broke the seal on the ballot box to prevent the votes from recounts. She won the election with just 79 votes. She went on to win the general election in the fall. Funk could have faced felony charges up to 5 years. Desperation everywhere. Karen said the migrants were not given fresh vegetables and fruit, so they were upset about that. Hello, Alfonso. Welcome in, my friend. Okay. First Republic Bank will be seized by the regulations on this is an article 429/23 from the Truth Press. According to the report from Reuters, a Bay Area institution whose affluent clientele and customer loyalty once made it the envy of the banking sector. Late Friday, the Wall Street Journal reported that the big banks J.P. Morgan Chase and PNC Financial, in a deal that would transpire after a government seizure of the troubled lenders, First Republic stocks sunk to historic lows throughout March and April, a similar profile to the Silicon Valley Bank. First Republic is the Bay's third largest bank and the 14th largest in the United States. First Republic would be the third bank failure since March. Y'all, I don't know what y'all think about all these bank failures. It's a little scary. I don't know if we need to be sleeping on our money or not, because, they're talking about digital currency coming anyway. So stuff in our mattresses may not be an option this time around. Representative Jim Jordan slaps number 46 censorship operatives with subpoenas following Twitter file revelations on 4/28/23. The heads of 3 big tech censorship and non-establishment narratives were slapped with subpoenas by the Ohio Representative Jim Jordan. According to the Washington Examiner, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, Director of Centers of Disease and Control and Prevention, Jen Easterly, head of their cybersecurity and infrastructure, y'all pardon me, security agency, and James Rubin, coordinator of the Global Engagement Center, a State Department House interagency, were all subpoenaed by Jordan as part of his weaponization of the Fed government subcommittee. The weaponization has to do with violations against freedom of speech and censoring free speech, zero hedge on 4/28/23. Jordan is demanding agencies to produce records showing persons they have cooperated with, consulted with, or relied on formally or informally applying, executing, implementing, or communicating government policies in connection. Excuse me for a second. To the moderation, deletion, suppression, restriction, or reduced circulation of the content online. He also seeks any agreements and communications made between these agencies and persons when it comes to the content moderation and records showing ways it has allegedly identified misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. The Washington Examiner. Whew, that was a mouthful. Hey, the Stock Explorer Nora, welcome in, and Tuber Chat, Mr. Kevin, welcome in. I hope I haven't missed anybody in the chat. If I did, I do apologize. So, this news, first of all, the bank seizures and stuff is very scary. And then the trying to squash our freedom of speech online is scary. And y'all, I want to be able to talk about any subject I want to talk about. And I have to use bang bang and words like kavovo and things like that to cover my backside. And I may slip up and may say the wrong thing one day, and my channel may disappear because my freedom of speech has been squashed. It happened on Facebook, and I lost all of my groups that I had on there and a company that I had on there. And I could not get back into any of them. They took away my administrative rights to all of my own personal groups and my own personal company on Facebook because I made a comment about the J6 on J6. And it was immediately. And then I tried to contact them, and then I was removed. And so I filed along with the class action suit that was put out to try to get some kind of compensation for what they did to me. Hey, Michelle, welcome in. Michelle had a doctor's appointment this morning, so she was running a little bit late. So this freedom of speech thing is really being pushed, and it is not constitutional, not in the United States. Yeah, Karen Cole says, one wrong move, back up your videos on a drive or memory stick. SCOTUS justices released a unanimous 9-0 letter slamming Democrat senators over fake Clarence Thomas ethics scandal. Revolver 4/28/23. And this is extremely rare unanimous statement. It details how and why the Supreme Court decision recusals on the cases and other ethical issues. It was carefully written. Before very recently, it was rare to hear the concerns about ethics at the Supreme Court. Democrat appointed SCOTUS justices taught overseas, took trips with friends and even attorneys with regular business with the court, amended their ethics filings after failing to disclose issues including spouse's legal related income, failed to recuse on matters, even heard cases on spouses' law firms. Wow. Christy Bates says an Indian church planter said you can be arrested there for praying for someone's healing. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, y'all. The letter indicates, the letter is dated 4/25/23, which lists all 44 ethics and practices by SCOTUS, including situation of Microsoft Corp versus U.S. 530 U.S. 1301 and 2000. The letter is also signed by all 9 justices. So that was just something else to read. And when they start attacking our Supreme Court, y'all, this country is in very, very big danger. It was really just a shock to me to see all of that come out and trying to especially target a conservative justice on the Supreme Court, which is what they were doing. And a matter of fact, I think it was brought out by AOC, who is, to me, she needs to go back to waitressing. I'm not going to say anything else, but she needs to go back to waitressing because she does not belong in the Capitol at all. Really does not. Okay. Mysterious listeria outbreak spreads to 15 states. This was 4/27/23, and this is Zero Hedge. Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Missouri, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, and Washington have reported the listeria outbreak. Yeah, AOC is crazy. I agree. Yeah, our freedoms are being taken away, and we're allowing it to happen. Okay, the CDC is interviewing people to find out what foods they ate before getting sick. That little statement right there tells me that they really aren't doing anything to figure it out. We've got 15 states with the listeria outbreak, and that was the one comment that was in there that just really caught my eye. The CD is interviewing people to find out what foods they ate before getting sick. Really? You haven't figured it out yet. You got 15 states, but you haven't figured it out yet. Christy says, I'm starting to make videos. They'll probably pull me down. Oh, no. Okay, get ready for the higher cost of electricity. This is from Front Page, and it was on 4/26/23, the article. Tuber Chat says, I just watched Elon Musk interview on Bill Mayer's show where they talked about free speech having been a liberal-sided idea in the past. Things have changed quickly. Absolutely, it has. It's crazy. The Democrats used to believe in freedom of speech. They used to believe in freedom of religion. They used to believe in your Second Amendment rights. And all of a sudden, the tables have turned, and they have just turned their back on all of this. And there's somebody pushing buttons somewhere causing all of this to happen. Okay, get ready for the higher cost of electricity. Front Page 4/26/23. Here we go again with the throat. Number 46 is to double cost of electricity. The EPA proposal would mandate carbon capture at power plants. Last year, 1 in 6 houses fell behind on their utility bills. With more than 20 million households struggling, number 46 decides to deliver the blow. His administration illegal carbon capture mandates will likely hike electricity costs 30% to 175%. Hey, Jerry, welcome in. Get you on my list. And I hope I haven't missed anybody else. Okay. Utilities will be forced to pass the cost of expensive green technology to their customers. A Stanford study found that carbon capture actually increases air pollution. A Berkeley study found that carbon capture would double water use, which would be environmentally catastrophic to Southern California and other water-poor states. So here we go again with the number 46, butting his head in where he doesn't belong and trying to push this electricity cost for carbon emissions, basically, and creating a bigger mess than we already have. Sometimes I wonder where their brains are located. I really do. You know, I don't have a science degree or anything like that, but I can tell you just from reading through some of this that this is going to really create havoc, as if we haven't got enough going on already in the United States. This is going to make it even worse and harder for us to survive. And y'all, find you an alternative source of power. Us included, we have got to find an alternative source of power to keep our refrigerators going. You know, I am one of those people that cannot deal with excessive heat or cold. I have to have some kind of maintained heating and air conditioning system. This stuff is just crazy, you know, and you just sit there and you just shake your head. You're like, where is this coming from? Yeah, Christy, I agree with you. I would love to have a wood burning stove, but they're going to stop us from using that. They're going to come up with excuses for everything that we come up with. Okay. Now that we've gone from crazy, we're going to go to worse. The IRS plans to hire GUN carrying special agents. You heard me right, the bang bangs. This comes from Truth Press on 4/28/23. In all 50 states, IRS agents within the CI division, that's a criminal investigation division, are the only authorized by law to carry these bang bangs. IRS CI investigates financial crimes, money laundering, tax-related, identity theft, and terrorist financing efforts. And you wonder where Hunter is in all of this. And the Bidens. These agents must be willing to participate in arrest, execute search warrants, and other dangerous assignments. They also must pass physical drug tests and be legally allowed to carry a bang bang. They will be hiring individuals between the ages of 21 and 37. Hello, Kathy Paina. Let me write your name down before I forget. Kathy, do me a favor and drop your link, because I know there's some people here that want to connect with you. Okay, they will be hiring individuals between the ages of 21 and 37. Special agents can expect a salary between $52,921 and $94,228 annually. And actually, that would put them either in the low income bracket or the low middle class bracket of income, believe it or not. And most Americans make less than that $52,000 base salary pay. Unbelievable. Zero hedge on 4/26/23. This is Vermont School District to remove terms male and female from their SEX education curriculum. Essex Westford School District is including politics into the biological gender of students and equality cultism. Fifth graders, those 10 and 11-year-olds, will be taught about puberty and human reproduction, but words girl and boy, male and female, will be removed from the curriculum language. Instead, they will use terms like person who produces. Children are being indoctrinated to deny biological reality, and it's happening right now in schools across the nation. They're going after our kids, y'all. I can't say it any plainer. They're going after our children. Flashpoint Army has a video of a pastor that is truly speaking out on this. And he said, you cannot transcend God's creation. You cannot change your DNA. It was a really good little short video, and it's a Flashpoint Army, and you can find that on Instagram. American Examiner News, American Christians score a huge classroom win. Two measures that would mandate the biblical 10 commandments to be displayed in public schools provide students as well as staff with daily prayer session and permits instructors to read from the Bible have been approved by Republicans in the state of Texas. This is coming from the state Senate in Texas. Now on the way to the House, the bill is sponsored by Senator Phil King, Republican. The second law would mandate public schools to provide children and employees with a daily session of prayer time. It is sponsored by Senator Mayor Middleton, Republican. As part of the curriculum, the law would permit the teachers to engage in reading from the Bible and other sacred books. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Republican, supports the legislation, stated that allowing the Ten Commandments along with prayer back in our schools represents one step we will be able to take towards making sure that each and every day Texans have the right to openly share their deeply held religious beliefs. And I think that would be great. You know, we've had that separation of church and state so long. They removed God from the schools. When I was growing up, I attended a Bible club in my school, even after this law had been passed, because the students at that time still had the right to form clubs. And we had a club called Bible Club. It was really, really interesting to me to see this being brought back. You know, when I went to school, we would have assembly and we would cite the Lord's Prayer. We would say our pledge to the American flag. We would pray before and at the end of assembly, corporately. And it has been a tragic, tragic thing when they have taken God out of our schools. And we've seen the results of it, and we're seeing the results of that today in our society. And it's just a shameful, shameful thing that has happened in our nation. And I keep praying that God will send a revival to our nation and will spread it to all the nations around the world, because we need God more than he needs us. Number 46 announced to end federal Cavovo jab mandates on May 1st. Let me get a drink, y'all. Y'all, I wasn't outside more than 10 minutes to go out to the chicken coop. Came in with this raspy crud. Okay. The mandate for non-citizen, non-immigrants arriving by air will end on May 12th, as well as mandates for federal workers and federal contractors. This also includes foreign travelers' requirement to prove the jab. You know, it also has an inside. It also is to prove the jab. Okay. So I'm going to show y'all a video. So y'all give me just a second to pull it up.
Tattoo. So I'm wearing one here on my arm.
Do we have a camera to get a?
This is a developmental system made by MC10. And it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication. Now, I'll let you hold it. Would you like to hold it?
I'll hold it.
Okay. So this.
You guys see it?
This pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch. It also has what amounts to an inside-out potato battery. When you swallow it, the acids in your stomach serve as the electrolyte, and they power it up, and the switch goes on and off. And it creates an 18-bit ECG-like signal in your body, and essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token. Yes, it's really true. So what this means is that becomes my first superpower. I really want this superpower. It means that my arms are like wires, my hands are like alligator clips. When I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. First superpower. Like, I want that. This is not science fiction. This pill is actually made by a company called Proteus, and they've developed it for medical applications. That pill has been CE stamped and cleared by the FDA. You can take like tattoos. So I'm wearing one here on my arm.
Okay, that's the end of the video. So, MC10 developmental system tattoo. That's the thing she had on her arm. And the pill has a small chip inside of it, an 18-bit ECG, authentication in technology. Boy, I can't talk. Global intelligence sensors market in 2016 to 2024. Key companies are Proteus, Digital Healthcare, Capsovision, Given Imaging, Olympus, Medimetrics, HQ, MC10, and Microchips Biotech. And that came from prnnewswire.com. The global ingestible sensors market size is expected to reach USD 1.99 billion by 2024. Touted as a medical device, and I'm going to stop right there for just a moment. This started out as a heart monitor that, remember that that thing that they put inside, they make a little pocket and they insert this thing inside your skin to restart your heart if you have a heart attack. And this is what it started with. Proteus wants to usher in an era of so-called wireless medicine where your health is continually monitored through, though privacy advocates think that digestible sensors might herald in unparalleled new forms of surveillance. Yeah, pacemaker. I couldn't think of the name. Like the Jewish, and this is nuts, I am a mother. Watch your superpower given. Glory to God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In 2001, Proteus began working on a high-tech solution, and in 2013, the FDA cleared it for human use. And, they're giving people pills to go through their intestinal tracts, and they have a little camera in the pill, and they take pictures all through your intestinal tract, and then you expel it. This isn't the same thing, y'all. This thing is going to attach to your body. It's very, very scary. The pill is coated with a digestive metal, copper and magnesium, which reacts with stomach acid to send tiny electrical signals throughout your body. This charge zaps the Band-Aid-like patch, the little tattoo on the skin, which use Bluetooth and sends all your vitals and your information to an iOS app. Proteus, or however you say it, has teamed up with Barton Health System in Lake Tahoe to fit patients with high blood pressure. Oh, fun. BuzzFeed.com. They're also going to be using this for diabetics and heart patients and a number of things to start with, so that you're going to be willing to do this. And my question is, what else will these pills and tattoos lead to? Well, she told you in that video that it's going to be an authentication, so you can get into your computer, your bank account, whatever. Just walk in the room and it something scans you, and then you're good to go. These companies plan to distribute this worldwide, and this came from Market Watch. Informed Lioness on IG. Okay, that was informed Lioness on Instagram, where that video was seen. The video I just showed y'all. So that's the last of my topics of interest. And y'all, we've already talked about the RFID implants. Well, they're taking this like the RFID and they're coating it with this copper and magnesium. And you swallow it. And they've got a little tiny battery in there that will turn on and off. And the copper and magnesium will react with your stomach acid. And all of a sudden, you've got this superpower, supposedly. So this is very, very, very scary to think that they are going to be using this in the future. And this girl on that video was as naive as she could be, or she's demonic. It is very scary. Yeah. It's just, we need to be very, very much aware of what's going on in the world around us. And that's why I keep bringing these topics of interest to y'all, because a lot of times these articles are withheld. And for the most part, they're not being told in the mainstream media. They don't want you to know about this stuff. And you have to go and research. And I'm telling y'all, don't just take my word for it. Go research. If you found something in these topics that caught your attention, go do some research on it. I'm not going to say that all of this is 100% correct, because I'm getting these articles and putting this stuff together to try to help y'all understand what's going on. But I may not have all the facts either. But there's enough information given here to really pique my interest on these things. Yeah, Christy, how much and just how strong would this make evil people? Meth addicts are very scary enough. Yeah, and yeah, Karen, China was one of the countries already testing this. It was listed in one of the articles. There was several countries. I think Australia was included in it. I know the United States was. So I think Germany was included in it. I can't remember all of them, but there was a bunch of countries that's already involved in this tattooed pill swallowing deal here. And y'all, if my medical doctor comes to me and says, I want you to take this pill so we can see what all's going on in your insides, I'm going to tell them they're crazy, because this is not what God has intended for our body to have. Yeah. Hey, Nana, the creator of AI for Google just quit. He has apologized for creating it. Oh, wow. That's some news right there. We need to be very, very much aware. And I keep telling people this is all biblical. You cannot deny the Bible when you compare it to the news. You just can't. I've been following Bible prophecy most of my adult life, and some of my teenage years. I started very young, getting really interested in biblical prophecy. Yeah, the road to hell is led with the best intentions. I agree. Yeah, exactly. If the Lord wanted us to have these monitors, He would have put them there already. God has given us a body that is just unbelievably fantastic. It is self-healing. Thank you for coming in, Christy. I really do appreciate you. Oh, the cat opened the door and let the chickens in. Yeah, you better go take care of that. You'll have feathers flying everywhere. But I mean, God did not create us like that, but He has given us so much in our own physical body, just know that it is miraculous for self-healing. Not everything is healed, but the body can heal a majority of stuff on its own. And we have all these medical professions and these scientific communities that are always wanting to introduce new things to our body. And that is not what God intended. He intended us to use the plants and the environment around us to heal us. And I do believe a lot of our healing is going to come from an untapped source, which is in the ocean. That's just my personal opinion. The chickens want the cat food. That's true. They do. They like cat food. So if you have somebody coming to you and they say, we want to put this little RFID implant in your hand, and you're a Christian, your answer should be a flat out, no, it's not happening. Because when we become a Christian, we are sealed with the Holy Spirit. That is our mark upon us that we belong to God. And we cannot belong to anybody but God as far as that goes. But there's going to be a lot of people that are going to fall prey to this trap that they're setting. And it is a setup for worldwide control. And it will be a world full of slavery, because you'll be dictated to about everything that you can do, what kind of job you can have, where you can live, what you eat, etc., etc. And it's all laid out in the book of Revelation. You can go read in the prophets, the books of the prophets, and find bits and pieces of the prophecy also. Yeah, Jesus' message is that we have the power in us. He has given us everything that we absolutely need. So I'm looking upward towards heaven, but I'm not going to be blind to what's going on in the world. I'm trying to put this in a way that y'all can understand. We have, the Bible talks about watchmen on the wall. The watchman on the wall would alert the city of enemies approaching. Thank you for coming in, Gene. I appreciate you being here. So he expects us to be aware of what's going on in our surroundings, but he wants us to keep our eyes focused on him. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that, and to honestly do that, is to allow the Holy Spirit to interpret the Word of God for you, and then ask God for his wisdom, his understanding, and his discernment for things going on around us. So anyway, to round this out, we just need to pay attention to what's going on in our surroundings and keep our eyes focused on Jesus and our heart focused on Jesus, and to go forward. Nana says, I got confronted because I would not wear a mask. I stated I have faith over fear. Then I was asked, then I asked if they were a believer. When they answered yes, I said, well, she's going to finish it up. I didn't want to wear this either. That's a sign of slavery, in my opinion, and it's bad for your health, because you're breathing in everything that your body has just expelled that's bad for you. And they're proving that now, and especially with children. I don't know how AI came up with a calendar. I really don't. Interesting questions. Very interesting questions, y'all. Anyway, that's the end of our topics of interest. I am going to drop the link. And if anybody wants to come up on panel, you can come up on panel. But I need to recognize your channel for number one. And number two, I have to see your face. And I may ask you a question, and I need you to answer the question once you get into the basement. And this is going to allow you to talk about your channel at this time. Thank you for coming in, Henry. I appreciate you being here, my friend. I hope everybody got something out of this. I know I kind of muddled all the way through that. But like I said, I had a really bad day yesterday, and I'm trying to get back to normal today. I couldn't breathe in the mask. I'll be honest with you. I could not breathe. I was like, this is awful. And of course, I had lung issues and stuff. Joy, I don't know if I'll make a shorter edited video out of this. You can find that on Instagram, and I hope and pray that people will see it. I'll be honest with you. We do have people that come through and watch my lives for watch hour time for me. So hopefully they will do that. I'm almost scared to put it out as a video, to put it bluntly, because I don't know how YouTube will react to it. Kathy says, I call it the masked bandits in a pandam, avoiding facial recognition. Yeah. What's wrong, Cocoa Bean? You're over here pacing. You can go outside. She wants to be in my lap. So anyway, anybody want to come up? You're more than welcome to. The only link I have, Kathy, Karen, is the one that I'm dropping now. I don't know if it works with the phone or not. Oh, there she comes. Well, here
Hello?
we go. Hey, Kathy.
Hello. Nice to finally meet you.
Hang on.
Oh, now I got a hair problem. Oh.
Sound is off.
Oh my goodness. What's going on?
Oh, not much. Not much at all. Hey,
There.
Space.
Tried to fix my hair, but it's all backwards in here.
I know, mine too. I tried to fix mine and there's no hope for it.
I had just been walking the dog. Say hello.
Oh, what a pretty baby.
Yeah, I fed him a grape by mistake.
Uh-oh.
I had to take him to the emergency vet, and it was yeah, they're poisonous. So that was a bit of a nightmare.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do that. Don't feed
them grapes.
Don't feed them grapes. No, all this stuff about, the moving into the world of electronics in our body. This is crazy.
Yeah. It's right out of science fiction, a lot of it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But I suppose, when we were young, we never thought we could do this, talk to each other through this, so there's some good things, isn't there? We have to just look at the positives and stuff.
Well, the Bible talks about the information highway, and of course, we know that the internet is the information highway. And we also know the book of Daniel was shut up until a time where all the information would be released.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's very biblical.
Everything, even if you look at whatever's going on today, you can still relate it to what we're taught. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. You can, there's a philosophy there that should carry forward that can carry forward to our day and age.
Absolutely. And so many people do not read the Bible, so they have no clue about what is coming. You know, they go to these soothsayers, you know, these fortune tellers and so forth, and thinking that they're going to get some kind of vision into the future. And that's not where it comes from. It comes from God, and it comes from God's word. And that's the only thing that we can depend upon.
Yeah. And you got to trust your intuition if you're, you know, so.
Absolutely. I want to welcome in Smallholder Homestead. I'm writing down. I'm sorry. If I don't write the names down, I won't remember. And a lot of times when you go back through your live, some names disappear because they're private, so you can't click on them. So I try to write everything down so I won't forget. And but it's very, very scary, these things, these topics that I'm bringing up, because I've got family members that are lost, that are dying and going to hell without Jesus. And I can't stress that enough. And it scares me to know what they're going to be living through. And you go to talk to them and they don't want to listen.
No, that's the thing. But all you can do is say, you know, it's the same. Like, all you can do is tell people. I try to do that in my videos in a non, you know, judgmental way, but there's nothing you can do. You can just tell them, and then at least with information, they can make their own decisions, you know?
Right.
That is what we are here for, to make our own decisions, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but you know, you don't want any of your family to die without Jesus. And it's just, you know, it's so hard.
Yeah.
You know, and I think about that all the time, because, and to be honest with you, sometimes we don't know if somebody is saved when they die. Hey, What the Flock, welcome in.
Hello.
I love that channel name.
That is a good name.
Oh, so tell us a little bit about your channel, Karen, and introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay. I should have brought a thing to hold my phone. Yeah, so I'm a lawyer in the UK, and I retired. And so I started my own business helping litigants in person, so that people wouldn't have to pay high fees for solicitors. And then when lockdown happened, I started YouTubing. And it's been a learning curve, I'll tell you. So, you know, joining other channels and stuff to, you know, get into communities so that I know how other people, you know, how they're thinking. And it's really good. It's really connected the world, I think. So that's what my channel gives you, is I try to do stuff with the law, new laws, try to compare a lot with America to what happens in England, and, you know.
Yeah, and we need more lawyers out here. To be honest with you, we're the YouTube community may be hiring you to defend them one day.
See if I can set this so that it's better there.
Okay.
There, and I have to hold it. That's better.
Yeah, that's
better.
better.
Way better. Okay.
Yeah. So we actually need lawyers that we can trust, because I don't know about over there, but over here in the United States, a lot of our lawyers are shysters.
I mean, when I started my business, the issue was that people, after they called me, they said they paid $60,000 for something, and the solicitors hadn't even done anything.
Yeah.
So it's a crime, I think. There's no regulation on how much they can charge, and they tell you to call them. Oh, call me, let me know. Well, you're being charged every minute. So with my business, they can call me, chat with me. I don't charge for that, and only charge when I do a review or,
Right.
So that's the whole idea is because of that.
Yeah. See, I've had experience with child support and family court here, and then I had to go through. I had an inheritance, and I had to go through the legal part of that. And I can tell you both of them. Well, and then I had my disability, and all three of them was I dealt with less than kosher lawyers at the time. They did not do what they were being paid to do, and it really was not a good deal for me. But I know that there are lawyers out there that are actually honest and really trying to help their clients.
Yeah, I think that so the way I work is I give people information so that they can make their own decision, right? And help them with what is best, because I know I've helped a lot of people with wills and stuff, like if they have to contest them. And family law, I do a lot of family law. Yeah, so definitely it's very difficult, because when you're going through a legal worry, you trust the person you're talking to.
Right.
And then if you find out that you weren't given the right information, or if, oh, gee, if I would have just known that, I might have made a different decision.
Very true.
So how can you get justice if you can't afford it?
Yeah, that's it. And in the United States, of course, we do have legal aid here that has helped with some things that we've had, minor things that we've had to deal with. But, we had to pay out of pocket on the front end. For instance, over the family court thing, I paid $3,000 to a lawyer I had never met to be represented in the state of New York, where the family court case was at, to regain custody of my children, that my husband had lied to the judge and told the judge that I had taken them out of the country.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of child contact and, parents disputing, and the lies that go on. And the problem is the court doesn't know who to believe. So they really should be taking like a middle of the road decision, but they don't, And that's the problem. The more convincing person will sometimes, get the upper hand, which could be, like you say, not justice, right? Like not the truth.
Right. KY Prepper, thank you for coming in. I really do appreciate you being here.
Did it all work out?
Yeah, eventually it did. Unfortunately, my first husband was a deadbeat. And my children have a lot of scars because of the relationship issues. He really tried to use the children as pawns, and I was trying very hard to protect them.
Yeah, well, parent alienation is just now being recognized.
Right.
I mean, it really hadn't been recognized for a long time, but I still don't think we're anywhere near what we should be with parent alienation. So if people don't know, parent alienation is when one parent uses the children against the other parent, so that the child literally has to take sides. And
Right. You have a question down here. Karen, are you licensed in the US? In the UK, are you only licensed from court to court?
No, in the UK, I worked for the government for several years. And then when I retired, in the UK, you can call yourself a lawyer, so you don't have to be regulated. So I chose not to join the solicitors regulation because I want to be able to help people, and so I can still go into courts with them and everything and help them. We're allowed to do that, but it's called being a lawyer. So you study the law.
Right.
So a solicitor here. So when I studied in Canada, you study to be a solicitor and a barrister. And in the UK, you study to be like a solicitor. You just study law. And then
Right.
if you want to be a barrister, that's another 4 years on top of that.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I could work for the government, because I studied law. So, and the government can make you a solicitor.
Wow.
Right. So, yeah, so that's why I decided to do that.
That's almost like becoming a doctor. You've had how many years of schooling?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to get a degree, it's so expensive. And then, you work and yeah, it's like, and then all the training the government gives you. And I came into England at the exact time when Lord Wolfe was changing the civil procedure rules. So it basically, what he was trying to do is put the law into layman's terms, right? So that people can understand it. And his big thing was trying to negotiate alternative resolution, like
Right.
dispute resolutions, so that you're not using the courts all the time, to give people an avenue to try to settle disputes without the court. So he
Right.
put in a lot more procedures and stuff and made the law so that people can represent themselves, right?
Right.
So, I've helped a couple of people in New York, oddly enough, and South Africa with some laws there, because a big part of my job with the government was interpreting laws as well. So when legislation gets put down, so you were talking about the Supreme Court, right?
Right.
That's one way of regulating is, or to put laws in, is because the courts will make decisions, and then because of their decisions, other cases will follow those decisions, right? So you can have legislation, you can have criminal acts, you can have all these different kinds of laws, but when judges make the decision, they're making a precedent.
Right.
So that others will follow. And that's why, I think it was Trump that said, do you want to go with the law? Because that's the whole thing. Either you go with the law, and if you don't like the law, you get it to change, right? You get your leaders to change the law. Or do you want a judge to make a decision based on whatever's happening at the time?
Right.
And that's the difference. So, and in a way, I think both are correct, right? You've got regulations, but a lot of times people don't understand them. They're too vague. So the judges can make their own opinions on them, right?
Right. Buying Space says, yes, very different. I have a paralegal certification. But if I go to court with anyone without a supervisor attorney, then they will press charges against me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm allowed to go into the courts in England. They allow that. But yeah, I suppose being a paralegal is, well, if you're going in as a paralegal, then you would have to be regulated. And so you wouldn't be able to represent somebody, right?
Right.
Does that make sense? Because a lawyer doesn't represent them. They're representing themselves. A solicitor represents them. So a solicitor can talk for you in court. Whereas somebody like me, I would have to ask, well, in England, a solicitor doesn't always get permission to speak, but you have to ask the court for permission to speak, and a barrister has permission to speak. So there's the difference. When you hire a solicitor, you want that person to speak for you, right?
Yeah.
So whereas, if you go to a lawyer and you represent yourself, you're speaking for yourself. So that's the major difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
Smallholder Homestead says, how do we interpret the new bill passed about our children in America, S559 or whatever it's called? I don't know what that bill is. I'd have to look that up.
Don't know. What's it about? What about our children? Well, I know in England, remember, I just did a video on transgender in our schools, and because we have equal laws that protect people. So what we have to be careful of is when these new fads come in, or people want certain things to come in, what you have to be mindful is that our laws are meant for society, not for like one person in society. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, the S559 is a Fire Grants and Safety Act, so that's not the right bill.
Where is he from? Because California just threw out a bill regarding parents knowing what their children are, being taught in school and stuff. They don't have to inform them. I wonder if that's what he's talking about.
I don't know. Hey, Kaz Moody, 24 new. Welcome in. I don't know. I'm not finding the bill that they're talking about, so.
That's the only one I noticed in California right now, is they didn't pass that bill to, which is really sad.
Right.
So parents don't have the right to know what's going on. Their children can talk to the school and to the school counselors, and the school doesn't have to get a hold of them and let them know.
Well, I think I talked about that last week a little bit about what was going on with that. It's just really a lot of craziness going on.
That's crazy. Thank God in England they do have to let the parent know. Yeah, maybe that's what he's talking about.
And I keep pulling the one that I pulled up for the Senate Bill 599. Is not right now. I'm looking at all the states, but the Congress SB bill is about fire grants and safety. So I know that's not it. Is it a state one, or is it the federal?
What state?
And if it's a state, which state would it be? Because there's a lot of states out there with an SB 559.
I know they're worried about the TikTok bill because they said it could, it could be interpreted to go to any country with an app that creates an app. And if they're not a friendly, then they wouldn't be able to be allowed in United States.
Right.
Which I think is fair enough. If,
I know there's one in Tennessee that they're talking about that have to do with the children.
Is he still in the chat? Has he not said?
He hasn't said anything yet. Smallholder is the one from Tennessee. And this is, well, that's a different one. That's House Bill 628, so that's not it.
Mm-hmm. We need more information.
Yeah, we need more information to really cover that. Buying spaces. I have worked as a guardian advocate for a child. It's being a court-appointed attorney for a child, but there are no other exceptions in Florida. You're an attorney or you're not for the rest of it. Thank you for coming in, Kaz. We appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, the local government that I work for, they were so if if we took a child away from you, like social services removed a child or want to place a child in adoption, our office would do stuff like that. So yeah, that was part of our work.
Yeah.
Done by the
Smallholder,
county solicitor.
right. Smallholder, is it a federal or is it a state bill? I know it's a Senate bill because the SB is Senate bill, but it could be state level or it could be federal. And the one that I'm looking at, it keeps pulling up to 628. It's not pulling up to 599. I don't know. We'll have to get back to you on that one.
There's another one in Florida that won't give, like, they won't give the medications for if children want to transgender.
Right.
That's another one that's just come out until they're old enough.
Cass says she's up. 58 people now. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, the transgender one, the ones that I'm reading, I'm like, where are they getting this stuff from? You cannot change a person's DNA. You can't change the X and Y chromosome. As hard as they're trying, it can't be done. So you're either a male pretending to be a female and may have changed your outward appearance to be a female, but to the Lord and to everyone else, you're still going to, I mean, did I say male to a female? You're still going to be a male if you're Y chromosome. Is it Y?
I mean, the way I look at it is if a person wants to identify as their opposite sex, they're still born with whatever they're born with, right? No matter what. And if they're going to change, then that's fine. But I think they have to be mindful that going into girls' bathrooms and stuff like that, and if they're going to be a male, I think there's certain things that they have to accept. They're still a male.
Right. And the other thing is
Olympics and stuff like that, that just seems wrong. You know?
Well, the other thing is that they're trying to indoctrinate children very young and trying to get states to allow them to do these sex change operations on them while they're still little. And the child's brain has not even fully developed until they're 24, 25 years old. So really and truly, they can't make those kind of decisions.
Yeah. No, I think that, I don't know if the states are doing it, but they're being promoted to do it, aren't they? By their, I guess it would be by the minority really that want to feel inclusive or whatever, right? So it's not really, I don't think if you took a poll or a vote, most people would agree to transgender men going into women's prisons or going into girls' bathrooms. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, Rudy, welcome in. Yes, Rudy, I know those Psalms. 41. Get your name written down. Smallholder said it just says Senate bill was in Washington. Well, it could be Washington State or Washington, D.C. I know that they're pushing. I know that they're pushing this. Hey, Hunting and Stuff with J&J, welcome in. Yeah, I always filter everything through the Bible. You have to filter it through the law. And, you know, when I say that they can't change the DNA, you're either X chromosome or Y chromosome. They can change the appearance of the body. They can give you hormones to make you think that you are male or female, but you're still not going to change your sex.
I mean, the other thing is, when you think about it, the law used to be the church, right?
Yeah.
And then it changed. So I just think if people are uncomfortable with whoever they are, do they really think that's going to fix them?
Well, I have a friend who is now a Christian, and this person started out as a male, went through the sex change process long before all this topic came up, and discovered that he was now ostracized by the communities around him because of the sex change operation. And when he became a Christian, churches would close the door on him because he came in dressed as a female because he had breasts,
Yeah.
And he now works with orphans and the elderly over in India, where they do accept him for what he is. But he says, I would tell everybody, do not do this, because once a male goes through this sex change operation, it cannot be reversed. Now, for a female, I believe that it can be reversed, but for the male, it cannot be reversed. And so he has to live within this body that was created for him.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole thing. If you get a tattoo, it's hard to remove it. If you get a sex change, is that just the way you're feeling at the moment? I think the deeper issue is psychological, personally, but I don't know, because I don't feel that way. So I have to accept what they're feeling. But I think they should be 18,
At least 18.
Sorry, I've got the dog behind me.
Give their brain at least time to develop to make those decisions.
Yeah, because that's what you don't want, is to have to regret something. And then you say, well, if I wasn't influenced by my teacher, or if I wasn't influenced by the friends I was hanging, like.
See, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. And
me too.
And by the time I graduated, I really didn't know there was such a thing as all of this male relationship, female relationships. Had no clue, and I'm out in the world, and one of the apartments that I was put into had gay guys living in it. And so I'm walking into my kitchen one night, and lo and behold, my foster sister's ex-boyfriend walks in full drag at the other end of the kitchen. And I'm looking at him like, wait a minute, didn't you just date my sister? Very, very confused. And that was my first real experience with this community. And we've had neighbors and that are in these kind of relationships. As an adult, you do what you want to do, but don't flaunt it. You don't have to flaunt it at me, because that's your decision. But we had one gay couple that lived directly across the street from two houses that had small children. And for Christmas, they decided they were going to put up a giant male part and neon lights in their window. And that was their Christmas decoration. And so we had
those ones just give gays a bad name.
Well, we had to kindly ask them to remove it because of the influence it would be on the children. And the children didn't understand what they were doing.
That just could be because they're crazy people. They're not. That has not,
Well, we assumed that they were not right in the head. because they would, first of all, um, they could have been sexual predators. We didn't know, and we told them that. I said, are you going to be a predator on our children?" "Oh, no, 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 no." I said, "Would you mind removing it from your window? You can hang it somewhere else in your house,
You
but
have to
just
be
don't put it out in
respectful,
the front
though.
window for
Yeah.
small children to see." "Oh, okay." So I had several conversations with them like that, trying to
Yeah.
get to the bottom of what they were thinking when they were doing things. They would hold rave parties.
What?
Yeah, rave parties on our little street was 1 block long, and we didn't care, if they were having a party or not in their backyard, but don't have the music so loud that it's knocking pictures off the walls in my house 4 doors down from you. you
Yeah.
know, kind of conversations. And I'm like, so one year we decided we were going to do a barbecue, and we invited everybody on our block to come to it. They were the only ones that came, and it was so funny. It was so funny. We had also invited a pastor friend of ours to come, and he was there, and they were there, and boy, by the time they left, they knew about who Jesus was, and I didn't have to say a word.
Yeah.
But they wanted to come into my house. They were so interested in how I decorated the house, and why I would be so friendly towards them. They didn't understand that. I said, God tells us to love everybody.
Oh, amen to that. Yeah.
You love the part.
We don't have to like everybody.
We don't have to like your lifestyle, but we have to love you.
Exactly.
And hey, handicapped traveler, welcome in. I'm so glad
Hi,
that you're here.
handicapped traveler. Thanks for all the support.
Good people, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But I have a friend that has a son that is gay, and he was offended by me. And she came in and she sat down, and I told her, I said, "Honey," I said, "I'm going to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not, because if you're going to lie to somebody, you don't love them. If you tell them the truth, you love them." And I told her, I said, "I don't have to like his lifestyle, but I do. God requires me to love him." And, she came in, she was ready to fight, and just as soon as I said that, you could just see the walls come down. And I told her, I said, "I don't know what happened to your son or why he chose this lifestyle, but I'm going to tell you that he needs to get right with Jesus, and when he gets right with Jesus, everything else will fall in place." I said, "But until he does this, he's going to continue down this depraved road that he's traveling. And that's what I'm trying to keep him from doing. If I say something that offends him, Jesus offended a lot of people. I said, you call yourself a Christian, but yet you don't want your son to be offended."
Well, the way I look at it is that there may be a lot of lifestyles I don't like prostitution and all kinds of stuff. So I think that if you're living your true life, whatever your life, if you're honest and you're living your true life, then people will accept that. And we can be offended by different things. I can be offended by what somebody wears or what they talk about, but that's where we've gotten, there's no common sense nowadays.
Exactly.
I think we've lost that, and we need that ability. You need that ability to say your view, and the ability for the other person to say, "Hey, I hear you," and that's it. That's all you're supposed to do, isn't it?
Yeah, you were talking when you said that, it kind of triggered something else with me. When I worked in the banking industry, we could not wear sleeveless shirts because it's offensive to some people to see your armpits. In some nations, to see your armpits. So we always had to dress covered up appropriately. We could wear pants, but they really stressed to wear dresses for the women. And this is back in the 80s. So that's just another example, because we can be offensive without even knowing we're being offensive. And I try to approach people to know the person.
Exactly. Have you ever seen a comedian here called Ricky Gervais? He
No.
does The Office in America. You know The Office.
Yeah,
The
I
show?
know. I never watched
Yeah.
that show. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's the writer of it. But anyway, he's really making a push for offensive stuff, right? What I like, obviously, you are offended when you watch him, right?
Right.
But that's the whole purpose of it, is to be offended.
Right. That's like
That is it.
that's like the old American comedian Don Rickles.
Mm.
Everybody loved to hate him.
Yeah,
because
I like. Yeah,
it was just that kind of thing. And we used to be able to joke about things and
yeah,
laugh it off, and people get offended over everything now. They
yeah,
get offended over what color shirt I'm wearing.
yeah. And the thing is, with the Bible, which is, everybody interprets it a different way. And so I think having open conversations about how you interpret it, how I interpret it, or whatever is healthy. I think that's healthy. And we need that for politics. We need it for raising our children. We need it for everything that our society goes through. We have to have that. And I think that's where, remember you were talking about AOC? I think
Right.
that's where I disagree with that way of thinking, is if you don't think like them, then you're kind of out of the group. You don't.
Yeah, and we're being polarized like that, especially here in America. I don't know about over in England and other places, but here in the United States, we're being polarized. We used to not have this huge gap of separation in our political.
I think because I worked for the government for so long, like over 27 years, just in England, I think that I've become so you don't offend. You learn not to do things offensively. And when I was a parole officer in Canada, and you have to write reports in such a way that the prisoner has to read it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they were coming up for parole, I would write a post-sentencing release to say whether or not I agreed if they should come out of prison or, get early release. And because they're going to read it and you want them to understand. So I kind of agree that we have to talk in a way. So if you're talking to somebody that will disagree with you, they're going to listen more if you talk in their terms and just kind of filter your thinking in a softer way. And I think that's the kind of society we've become now. Everybody is so sensitive. We have to do
and see, I was raised, in the deep South in the United States, and the way I was raised was you would express your opinion and be as blunt about it as you want it to be, but you would still be able to listen to the other person and accept what they were saying. And if you didn't agree, you just agreed to disagree, and you carried on. You carried on your friendship. You carried on your life. And we're not seeing that anymore.
What are you in? I don't even know where you are.
I'm in the state of Tennessee.
Tennessee, okay.
Yeah.
Because I used to go to Florida a lot. So our family, like snowbirds, living in Florida a lot.
Yeah.
So, and I grew up on a border city. So a lot of American traits,
Yeah.
But yeah, we were the same. Could always say what you wanted to say, and somebody would just say, "Oh, you're full of it," and then you'd laugh it off, and that would be the end of it,
Yep. Buying space says, "I am offended when someone else is offended."
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah,
but my daughter will say, "Oh, Mom, don't say that." She's always saying stuff like that, and I suppose, I think I'm pretty conservative, right? And she'll say, "Oh," so if I can offend people, then who has a chance? Who else has a chance?
Exactly. And unfortunately, it's become politics now. You know, everything that is offensive one way is not offensive the other. So it's become a great divide here in the United States.
Yeah, but when you lose your job or you lose your career or you lose your lifestyle, that's when it becomes too much, I think.
Right.
When you have to comply or, with somebody else's ways just because it offends them.
Right.
We're losing a lot. And that's how growth is made, by learning these outside the box, if it is outside the box, right? I mean, obviously they're offended, but that's how we grow, because by these debates, that's how things get better.
Right. And we're not debating.
No. So Jordan Peterson, I think he's a good one from Canada, that to me explains this kind of thinking a lot better. That if we lose this in society, it's a real danger to society.
Yeah. Well, all of this is ushering in what I call the isms.
I love isms.
The isms are Nazism, socialism, communism, those type of isms. And when you get to a point in society where you can't say what you believe or talk about subjects and things like that, the freedom of speech is taken away, and you become a slave to your master, which is the government.
Yeah, and people are afraid to speak, aren't they? Like you said, they're afraid to, because they'll be ostracized. And I mean, if you think about it, that's how what happened in Germany, happened because they didn't like how certain group of people were prospering. And so it was our first kind of, what is it called when you tell you don't want people, what's that? It's the my brain is just gone right now. But when you tell somebody not to follow somebody, what's that called?
I can't.
Cancelism. It's the first cancel. That was the first cancel culture.
Right.
Yeah. So don't go shopping there. Don't buy anything from there. And then those people end up just, getting poor, and then they don't have as much, because don't forget, money talks, right? Money.
Yeah.
So if they can't afford anything, and that's why a lot of countries will keep their citizens poor, because when you're poor, you can't fight anything, right? You're too busy worrying about how you're going to put food on the table, right? But if you've got money and you've got everything, then you're going to have unrest.
Right. Thank you for coming in, buying space. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, it's just, we are becoming very polarized in our society. Another thing that this is affecting is family relationships. Are you seeing that where you're at?
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I think because with families, your family is your family, isn't it? Like you can't pick your family, but you certainly need your family. And as you get older, isn't there a saying that says when you're young, you're a Democrat, and as you get older, you become a conservative, and that's kind of the way it is. Like and I think people are getting younger too. Like the family disputes I see, it's the children that are actually telling the parents, this is crazy.
Yeah.
They see it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, our generation and the younger generations coming up, our younger generations have been indoctrinated, believe it or not, through gaming, these games, that they play, like the Nintendo and stuff, and the computer. They have been indoctrinated through that. And now they're being indoctrinated in schools. and the parents are being shut out. And these little minds are being controlled by outside sources, and the parents are being totally shut out. I will never forget when my youngest daughter came home from school and told me that I couldn't spank her because if I spanked her, I could go to jail.
You'll go to jail. Yeah.
And I said, "Who told you this?" And she said, "They said it in school." So I marched her down to school. Well, the thing of it is I got a phone call from the school not too long after that. And they said that I was beating my children.
Oh my goodness.
So I marched them down to the principal's office with a police officer in tow because I knew what they were going to say when I walked in the door. And I said, "I want you to strip my daughter down and tell me where the bruises are at." And he says, "We can't do that. We can't do that." And the police officer said, "She just gave you permission to check her over." So I lifted up her shirts. I didn't pull down her pants or anything, but I pulled up the pant legs and showed him. I said, "She has no bruises on her. Where did you get this information from?" And of course, this goes back to the family court thing. This is my ex-husband. But I mean, to instill in a child at a young age, and I think she was in first or second grade, to come home and tell her, "Mommy, you can't beat me."
Oh, I've had children in courts. They know the law better than their parents.
Yeah.
And so I think that, there's pros and cons. And I think because there's a lot of parents that don't parent. So it's almost like, are the schools catering for that 1% that aren't getting parented?
Yeah.
And that seems to be what happens, isn't it? It's like,
yeah.
But we always say what happens in America happens everywhere else. So,
that's true.
And so I think because America, if you think about it, what is your population? 378.
Don't ask me. It's a lot.
Yeah. So if you think of your population as 378 million, right?
Right.
England is 78 million. Canada, New York City is just a little under Canada. Okay.
Wow.
So you guys are like perfect because you've got such a melting pot of cultures and like such a great society to learn from. Right. Because you will have it all,
Yeah. Well, this went on for a while, after that issue, but periodically he would call Child Protective Services and they would come out to my house. And it got to the point where me and the lady just sit down and started talking because she'd already been through my house so many times that she didn't need to go through again. She knew what this was all about. And it would go back to the judge, and the judge would just, reprimand him in court and don't do this again kind of situation.
Well,
but he was trying.
Addressed in England. That is something new that our head of the family division has said, is that if you continue to bring someone to court and it's false, falsely accusing them and stuff, then there will be, that will be taken into consideration when making orders, right?
Right.
So they are recognizing that some people are using the court system to benefit.
And some of them do such a job that you would not believe here in the United States. They know.
Look at that one guy that is, what is he, a police officer, and his son was just found dead in New York.
Yeah.
On the remember he's living in a garage.
Right.
And that mother, like, it's so sad to think she argued so much in the courts and the courts just laughed her off, because he was a police officer, right? So he was more believable, which is really sad. And so we've got to also take away, just because you're somebody doesn't mean I'm a nobody. Right.
And, disciplining your child is a totally different thing than beating your child. This was the issue that kept coming up over and over again. And I told the judge, I said, look, if my child is going to touch a hot stove, I'm going to slap their hand and tell them not to touch the stove. I said, I'm not beating my child. I'm disciplining my child. And so, that opened up a big can of worms, of course, because you can't do that. You can't do that. But I said, if I stand there and tell them not to do it, they're going to do it anyway, and they're going to get burned. And then I'm going to have
Well,
to
this
go
is
to
the
the
thing, isn't it?
hospital.
As our generations go, right? So there are some people that, I remember at school, the teachers used to throw chalk at the boys, right? They're used to, it's as we move through generations, we see a lot of change.
Right.
And now so you're probably not from the generation that said, oh no, you've got to talk to them. And I mean, it's like animals. We found through scientific research that they do much better when you're kind to them and you're not mean to them, isn't it?
Right.
But and so this whole thing of slapping their hand if they're near the stove is a good example, isn't it? Because what you're trying to do is shock them into that is bad, right?
Right.
And once you get that in your mindset that that's how you make change, is to shock something, because you're protecting them, aren't you?
Very much protecting them. Yeah.
And
the thing of it is, it was just so stupid the way you really look back and you're like, this was just dumb. These things that were coming out back then. And Handicapped Traveler said, our son told me that he was going to CPS on me. I handed him the phone and said, do you want me to look up the number for you? I mean, this is the kind of reality that some of us have had to deal with children, and what our schools were indoctrinating them with. And this is public schools, and I'm like, really? You got to go through that.
The other thing people should be mindful of is who you hang around with. That makes a huge difference to your influencing. So children, and I remember years ago, your parents would say, oh, don't hang around with them. And if you're rebellious, you'll say, I'll hang around with who I want to, right? But it's about teaching them, you're just going to get in trouble if you hang around with them,
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things social services, and I'm sure your social services is the same, but we have a system that says who are the known associates, and the police have the same thing.
Yeah.
So you're going to be categorized in with that, whether you like it or not, right? Yep. So your opportunities may be less just because of your known associates. Like if you want to join the police force, or you want to, do something where they're going to do checks on you, and they find out that, you've gotten into trouble, or you hang around with the wrong kind of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I try to instill in my children, that everybody around you is not your friend, at a very young age, because they're not. There's a lot of people out there that want to harm you, and you don't want to be associated with those type of people.
Yeah, but you find that in life, don't you? I mean, kids won't find that out till they get older, but everything in life is an opportunity. Okay. So if I need you, I'm going to be friends with you because I need you. And if I don't need you, well, I might still be friends, but there might not be as much time for you. Other things will take precedent, won't there?
Right.
So you've got to think of, hanging around with the bad people the same, because they just like someone who, let's say, will have fun with them. They think it's fun, right?
Yeah.
But
you got people out there that have mental disorders that will manipulate and abuse you. And
peer pressure. We were taught about peer pressure. That's that's what you're talking about, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. And I actually ended a 53-year friendship over a stupid remark from somebody that they, in their mind, I was whispering about them in my home at a dinner party. And I'm like, why would I invite you to a dinner party and whisper about you to somebody else while you're sitting there? And it was a manipulation. And I recognized the manipulation. I'm like, no, I don't need this friendship anymore.
Do you know what? Do you know there's there's a new, I don't know if it's a new way of thinking, but a way of thinking, because I use this for courts all the time when I'm talking to clients and I'm saying, well, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how the other side is going to see everything, right? And then we're going to make sure we understand where they're coming from, right? And this is the thing. If you have a thought and you are talking to someone else, right? And they think one way, they will start a fight with you because they need that attention, right? And when we see this in divorces, where if somebody wants to discard you, they're finished with you, the relationship's over, you start to notice a real change in what we're calling gaslighting.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I don't know if people know what that term is, but it's kind of like when there's that movie where the guy would turn the gas on, the husband, and then the wife would say, "Oh, I smell gas," and he would say, "No, there's no gas. It must be all in your head." So they feed you something, and then when you bring it back to them, they'll say, "No, I never said that," or "I never did that," right? And so your friends sounded like, because if you think about it, if they like you, they're not even going to mention it, because they're going to say, "Oh, that sounds stupid. I know she wouldn't do that," right?
Yeah.
They stick it for you already.
Well, a 53-year friendship, you would think she would know that I'm not going to talk bad about her to anybody, because I have never done it, in the past. So why would I start now? But, it was gaslighting. It really and truly was. But it was also some kind of mental thing going on there. And I'm like, I don't need this in my life. So I just severed the friendship. I was like, I'm done. But,
that's so true. That is a really good way to look at stuff like that, because if it's like if I heard somebody say something bad about you, what, I don't know anybody, but you know what I'm saying, then I would be, if I go and tell you, I'm just as bad to me as the person saying it.
Right.
Because if I like you, why would I want to hurt you with that? It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And I think that's where we've gone wrong in society. We think, oh, well, I have to tell them, but I often wonder, well, by telling them, are you not just making your friend sad by doing that? Like, you're playing into that game.
Exactly. And, unfortunately online, hey, Missy, welcome in. Unfortunately online, we're seeing a lot more of this gaslighting stuff going on. And I witnessed a lot of it on Facebook when I was on there. I'm like, why would you even want to go there? This doesn't make sense, because I'm all about positivity and building somebody else up. And I show it through every live that I do. And then I had this person come to me and tell me the total opposite, or try to put it out there, totally opposite of what I was actually showing people and doing, and saying, well, she does this when you're not looking. I'm like, you're not even in my life. How do you know?
But there's I don't know if you've heard this, but it's like if somebody says to you, "Oh, you're looking good," or "Oh, you're looking a bit like if you gained weight," it's more about them than it is about you.
Yeah, and that's another thing with society. We have become self-centered.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so people don't recognize that. And so I started to think about stuff like that, right? Like, if I notice somebody is looking good or looking whatever, and I say that to them, and I thought, you know what? I am probably thinking about my own weight and my own. So I think if we turn it around on ourselves and say, well, why are we saying that? Right?
Yeah.
Then we'll see that it's what we're thinking.
Yeah.
And so I think that with negative people as well.
Oh, yeah. I agree
it's
with
more
you.
about them. And as soon as somebody's real negative like that, pray for them, because it's their heart and soul that's hurting if they can talk like that, if that makes sense.
I agree with you. And I be honest with you, I pray for my friend every day, the one that I've had to sever the relationship with, because I know that she's got some things going on in her life that she's having to deal with, and she's not sharing with the right people. And, and she's lashing out. That's the only other word I could come up with. She's lashing out to anybody that's near her.
Misery loves company.
Yeah.
You know,
We don't want misery.
If you don't feed into her or anyone, let's not do her, but if you don't feed into some people's what they're saying, right? You're not buying into it. They'll just move on and find the next person that will.
Right.
Because they need that. They don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear it, right?
Yeah.
So they end up just moving on to the next person that will give them, oh, here's my shoulder, But
Right.
if you say it to them like, no, that's not true, then because they want whatever they're saying to be true.
Right. And unfortunately, we got a world full of people like that.
But like you say, when it takes friendship set up in there for years, and that is really sad. But that's life. Life changes, Sometimes it opens the door for somebody different,
Yeah. Well, we're going to get ready to close this out. We've been on here for 2.5 hours, y'all.
Oh my God. And I've got like 2% left in my battery.
Well, you need to go charge your phone. Thank you so much, Karen. I need to go charge
my phone and load my video for tonight. So
thank you, Karen, for coming up on panel. I really appreciate you. I hope you will come back.
I kept saying I was going to do it, and then I felt like, oh, I better do it.
Yeah, because I'm sure we've got a lot more that we can come up with to talk about. I think this has been beneficial for not only me, but for a lot of people out there.
Yeah, I'll have to find a way to read the chat as well. And then that way we can talk about what other people want to talk about.
Right. If anybody in chat has a prayer request, this is the time to drop it. I would love to be able to pray for anybody's needs at this time. Thank you so much, Karen.
Do you knock me out?
Yeah, you can drop yourself off.
Okay.
Well, that was a really good talk. I really appreciate Karen Cole for coming up. I know I've missed a lot of comments today. I do apologize. Joy says, I learned humans need encouragement, and so I think it's good to say you look beautiful or congrats on weight loss, etc. My God wired love language into words of affirmation. Absolutely. I agree with you. I would rather tell somebody something good about themselves than to go up and tell them something that's not good about themselves. And I think that's what God wants us to do. He's wired us to do. So I try to be pleasant and nice to everybody. Thank you, Karen. Again, if you would drop your link so that anybody that wants to come up, wants to connect with you can. Her name, see, I'm talking crazy now. The word to drop is Hillbilly. I am totally tired, y'all. This little infection thing has got me all razzled. So if anybody has any prayer requests, you can drop it in the chat. I would really appreciate to be able to pray for everybody here. And if not, we will close out with a prayer here momentarily. I can't even talk today, y'all. I'm just losing it. I know that I tell y'all all the time, pray for your nation, pray for your family. Pray that hedge of protection around your family and your loved ones. Don't sweat the small stuff because it's all small stuff. And just know that God loves you and that he wants you to be a part of him again. When Adam and Eve was in the Garden of Eden and they ate of the forbidden fruit, they were separated from God. And we have all had that sin. We were born into that sin, unfortunately. Missy's trying to reach the DA to talk about the Supreme Court ruling that affects stalking orders for tribal people. Please pray that I can reach the DA and get the okay, the SUP court ruling complied with. Okay, we will do that, Missy. We keep you in our prayers anyway, but I will definitely be praying about that. So, DA support. Handicapped Traveler says, keep Kathy in your prayers. The insurance isn't letting her get tests done that the doctors are ordering to figure out what's going on with her. Kathy. We'll definitely do. We will definitely do that. So I'm going to get ready to close out because I don't want to keep y'all any longer than necessary. I really and truly appreciate everybody that has come through today. Y'all are so wonderful, and I feel so blessed to be a friend to you and for y'all to be my friend. So we're going to get started with prayer. First of all, Father, I thank you for allowing this live to go on, and that I hope and pray that it was according to your word and your will, that everything that has been said here would be useful for someone along the way. Father, I lift up Missy and this DA and the Supreme Court ruling, and for the Native American people of our nation, that they would have the right representation in courts, and that the courts would handle the cases in the proper and honest manner, and that the tribes would be able to handle the cases in the proper and honest and truthful ways with their own people. Father, I ask you to protect Missy from the stalker that has been stalking her, and to continue to give her wisdom and understanding and discernment as she muddles through all of the legal proceedings that she's going through. Father, I pray for Miss Kathy that the insurance will allow her to have the medical test that she needs done, and that they will cover the cost, and that she will find answers that she's seeking, Father. And we know that Jesus is our healer. He is our great physician, Father, and by his stripes we are healed. So I ask for this healing to come to Dan and to Miss Kathy that are struggling with some medical issues. Father, I thank you for each and every person that has come through this chat. Lord, as they go about their week, Lord, just be there and protect them and guide them and give them strength to carry on as we muddle through all of these issues in this world that we are dealing with. I thank you for Karen Cole, who was brave enough to come on panel today, and thank you for the wisdom that she shared today and the legal advice that she gave today. Thank you again, Father, for this time. In Jesus' name, amen. So thank you, everybody, for coming, and may you be fully, fully blessed.